Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 gas pipelines that transport Russian gas to Europe have developed some serious issues. Major leaks were reported in both pipelines. Nord Stream 1 has two leaks. Both of them are discovered on the same day, and both of them lie very close to each other. Interestingly, one leak is also being reported to have dropped the gas pressure in the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. So, in total, there are three leaks, and definitely that is not a coincidence. In fact, the Danish Prime Minister has already declared that it is hard to imagine that the leaks are accidental. The PM said, "It is an unusual situation to have three leaks a distance from each other. That is why it is hard to imagine that it is accidental." The Kremlin has also hinted that it thinks sabotage was the cause of the leak. It should be noted that this development comes days after German Chancellor Olaf Scholz and Russian President Vladimir Putin discussed over the phone the possibility of activating the Nord Stream 2 pipeline. The Times of India quoted some sources in the European security establishment as saying that there are some indications that it is deliberate damage. You have to ask, who would profit? Good question. Who would profit from this sabotage of this massive level, which has the potential to take both of the pipelines offline for weeks and even months? Well, the answer is the United States of America. Whether you like it or not, the artificially manufactured gas crisis in Europe is turning out to be a great financial opportunity for the US. Firstly, the US is making billions out of exporting LNG to Europe. Even a single LNG shipment is netting around $200 million of profit. At much higher prices, US is exporting around 60% of its total LNG exports to Europe. Last year, the figure was just around 19%. Now suppose Russian Nord Stream 1 and 2 pipelines are activated, the US will lose billions and billions of dollars in insane profit. Secondly, the gas crisis in Europe is triggering an exodus of industries from Europe towards the US. As per modern diplomacy, Biden's sanctions on Russia are forcing up energy prices in Europe and are thereby driving Europe's corporations to move to America, where taxes, safety and environmental regulations, and the rights of labor are far lower, and so profits will be far higher for the investors. Biden knows that it is becoming even more painful for the EU to sustain its sanctions on Russian energy with every passing day. Germany is already in talks with Putin to reactivate the Nord Stream pipelines through the Baltic Sea. Once the pipelines are activated, that would be a multi-billion jolt for the US. So it is highly likely that US is behind this sabotage. US wants to ensure that it manages to make the most of EU's energy woes. Biden is ensuring the energy crisis in Europe does not fade away any sooner. Joe Biden's own vassal state, known as Ukraine, has already declared Russia the main culprit behind the sabotage, without providing any evidence, of course. But deep down inside, even the comedian President Zelensky knows it could be none other than his master, Joe Biden, behind the attacks on the Russian gas pipelines. You're watching India's World. We discuss geopolitics here. Please consider subscribing to our channel for more unbiased news analysis.